Hey, we got a good one today here, brought to you by Life, right? Life itself. Right, this is the complete human development stages, right? So number one here's a conception, right? So what happens is that the sperm will penetrate the oocyte. Which sperm, you ask? A very good question. This is not any old sperm, right? This is not any old sperm. The oocyte, which is exited, freshly exited from the female's ovary, the woman's ovary, we'll actually choose the best sperm. It's clearly intelligent design, right? So then this will form a zygote. So this whole point here, I mean, there's so much more to talk about here. How the sperm will there will be a penetration there, but there will be a selection process. So there's so much more to talk about this, and I wish we could go into detail, which we will in another video. But the key point here is that it's not a potential human, right? This is 100% human, and this is the first stage of life. So it would be a tragedy, and it is a tragedy when this is the most incredible thing, is that this is the most beautiful part, right? There's nothing more valuable, and from the top of the mountain to the top of the clouds to the bottom of the deepest part. In the floor of the ocean, there's nothing more important and valuable and precious then this right here, right? This is what? This is a baby, right? This is a baby. This is a human, right? Um, so why it's a baby, right? Well, if you're a rational person, you will see that, and if you have your mind infected by lies, you will not see this, right? This is the cornerstone, right? So why it's a baby, right? From this point forward, unless interrupted by Dr. Michelle Dow and her ridiculous, nonsense that she's pushing these birth control pills, which are abortifacients. They don't prevent this, right? The birth control pills does not prevent the conception. They don't prevent this fertilization. The baby boy or baby girl will be conceived. Congratulations, you're a mother, and congratulations, you are a father, right? But if the woman has unfortunately taken these pills and paid money to do so, um, she will. The baby will die, right, at the later stage of implantation. Well, we'll see that in a few minutes. Oh man, it's a sad thing, right? This is a very, very sad thing. It's so much potential, right? Our world's, our society, our civilization's potential is being stunted by people, imbeciles like Dr. Michel Dow. Yeah, and, I've said what I said. I 100% mean that, right? These people are imbeciles, right? There's so much more value in not killing a baby than there is in killing a baby, right? They're imbeciles, right? And criminals, right? These are lunatic, criminals, right? They're murderous, but imbeciles is a very, very um, fitting and adequate, categorization for this kind of a person that would do such a thing, right? Is an imbecile, right? From this point forward, right, the conception unless interrupted, the he or she, right? We're gonna change this. So he or she, there you go, will continue through all stages of development. He or she is not he or she. And we're just gonna change it because this is a baby boy, baby girl. He or she is not part of a mother, but a new self-directed living human. So it's not the woman who's pregnant. That is not the way it is. The woman is not. You say, "Hey, I'm pregnant." No, 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 no. There's a new baby inside of one of the parents. That's the way it is, right? He or she is not part of the mother, but a new, she's living inside. He or she, the baby is living inside the belly of the mother, because that's how babies are born, right? That's biological reality of our life. But it takes a dad to do this too, so that means it's a three-part team, right? The mother, right, of course, which is here, and then the father, of course, which is the dad, right, and the baby, which is a three-part thing. This is not a my body, my choice nonsense. This is the three-part team, right, the family, right, the mother and the father and the baby. Okay, so number two here we got the one here. This is a zygote, and this is when the beautiful zygotic genome activation, and this will happen around the 8-cell stage. So prior to this, the baby will be assisted by the mother, but then after this 8-cell stage. The zygotic genome activation will produce the new DNA, and that there's this is a self-directing development. So what does that mean? Is that the zygote starts transcribing its own DNA exactly like it says here. But what happens is that there's no help from the mother, right? Prior to this, and this all happens prior to implantation. So don't give me that nonsense that implantation is starting in pregnancy. It's not. But after this eight cell is incredibly small, man. It's very very small. But that's I mean that's just the way it is, right? So there's a little bit of assistance from the mother, right? And then after this eight cell stage, right? This is a very 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 you know a very small stage of development. It's called a zygote, right? And then the morula. So let's get into the morula. So this is a solid ball, right? The ball of cells, right? This is the up to 32 cells. And then this is, of course, a baby because it's always been a baby. It will always be a baby. This is just the stage of development. We get the blastocyst here. And what I hear sometimes is the blastocyst will fail to implant. What? So they're dehumanizing. They're using this complicated name. Okay, so let's just call it how he or she is. It's a baby. Why is it a baby? Why? Despite structural changes, it remains the same human organism. Differentiation, differentiation. Yeah, I got it right. It does not create a new human. Does not create a new being. It's not a horse or a tumor or a parasite or anything like that, right? The glossosis is a oh yeah, that's right. The trophoblast. I would really encourage you to get into embryology. Like, I'm not a embryology professor, but the trophoblast. This is really really interesting. That this is the future placenta. A placenta for what? For a cancerous tumor, a parasite, or some eagle or something like that. No, it's a baby boy or baby girl. Right? This is the same human organism. These feminists are just wacky. So you know that they're wacky. Yeah, and so. All right, so number five, implantation, right? So the blastocyst, the baby boy or baby girl, embeds into the uterine wall. Right, this is a change of location. It's not a change of identity, right? This is just a change of location because from the fallopian tube, right? So the baby will travel from where the ovary the oocyte will exit the ovary, and then the sperm will meet the egg. What a beautiful process! You got the zygote genome activation happening, and then after that, there's the implantation. The the baby will make a short travel through the fallopian tube, and implantation failure ends the life of this human organism. There's no transformation into a baby here. Okay, all right. So Dr. Michel and those fools, right, will pretend that the blastocyst failed to implant. No. No. What happened is that you killed a baby boy or baby girl. Right? This is what you did. This is what you did. This is your legacy, right? This is what she did. Like I said, right? What more fitting word than an imbecile could there be, right? Right? I mean, he could have been a real doctor. Right? All right. So the embryo. All right. So the embryo. Yeah. Um. So the organo yes, the organogenesis begins. The heart starts beating by day 21, right? Brain activity is detectable by week 6 or 7, right? And then and this is when the real incredible tragedy begins, right? So then you got these people actually having like surgical abortions. Like, okay, so here's my question, right? And then you got week 9 to these mid to late term abortions. Here's my question: is it any less tragic than this stage right here? Is it any less tragic? Is it any less of a human life? It's not, right? So these pro-life with these pro-lifers, right? And that's good that they are pro-life and they are doing a lot of good, but they are failing to understand that this is just an even more of a tragedy because there's so many more babies that are lost, right? All right, but when it comes time to actually destroying a baby boy or baby girl fetus, developing it into the womb of the mother. I mean, these people are just evil, right? You see the evil in our society. People are killing these babies, right? And there's no end to their wickedness, right? Any kind of surgical abortion. I mean, anybody can know that this is a serious wrong in our society, and these emotionally charged and obnoxiously loud arguments will never make it. Will never justify it, right? So we get the infant here. I got a birth to a 1 year old. I got a couple of toddlers. I got 1 to 3 years old. I got three toddlers right now. They're going all crazy. What happens? They're going all crazy here, smashing, destroying, going, all crazy. Yes, smashing and breaking and stealing daddy's hearts. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Hey man, I love them so much. They're always growing all kind of stuff, and they're always doing every kind of thing, developing, right? So it would be as see this is the imagine my 3 year old my 3 year old's birthday is what tomorrow's going to have a 4 year old. I can't believe it. Tomorrow I have a 4 year old, right? So imagine if something would happen, I would be incredibly crushed, just as I was crushed when my baby died here at this stage, right? So there's no difference, right? What difference is there, right? Because you didn't see the face, right? That's the difference, right? So you don't, you know, these people, I don't care, I don't see the face, I don't really care. You're a fool, right? You're a fool, right? What? Yeah. So this is a baby. All right. So my child, my child, I will have a child tomorrow because my daughter will be 4. Right. Continued physical, emotional, and intellectual growth. Right? So I got 2 adolescents. Yeah. I do. Sorry, I have a child. Sorry, man. I do have a child, and I have 2 adolescents. Right. So my wonderful sons, my 2 sons. They're incredible. All right. Here we got the puberty, the identity formation, the brain maturation, um, um, and maturation, whatever you want to say. Very common word, but anyway, whatever. Um, and how does all these things? And then you're adults, right? So when somebody murders an adult, right? You start getting start asking a question. What would you kill this guy for, right? And then a senior citizen, here my wonderful grandmother, right? 97 years old right now. My wonderful grandmother's 97 years old. She's I really hit the jackpot in the grandmother department. I'll tell you right now. My grandmother's great, right? She's the only reason I didn't completely break. So why the baby is a baby at fertilization, right? So continuity of identity. There is no break or jump in identity from zygote to senior, right? All changes are developmental, not essential, right? Scientific classification, the human zygote is classified as Homo sapien. A little bit Charles Darwinian. I'm not going to go there too much, but not as pre-human or partial human. Um, So no essential trait is added later. Consciousness, heartbeat, brain activity emerge gradually, but none of these make a human more human. Dependency does not negate personhood, right? The zygote is dependent on half of the team of parents, the mother. So the newborn, toddler, and even some of seniors, right? Some of these seniors, like my grandmother, 97 years old, she's getting old, right? She needs somebody to come in and do the housework and all that. So she's still living at home. She's got my babysitter from when I was young, right? My babysitter when I was young, she's helping my grandmother right now. Wonderful wonderful lady taking care of my grandmother. I'm thrilled about that. But she's dependent, right? So is my grandmother not a person, right? Yeah, because she's dependent, right? You can't survive outside of the. Oh, get out of here with that nonsense argument, right? So from the moment of fertilization, a whole living, distinct human organism exists. All stages for zygote, morula, blastocyst, embryo, fetus, infant, child. What if you're a baby here? I don't want to wait, but baby. Yeah, it's a baby, a newborn baby, right? Um, Baby, infant, child, adolescent, adult, senior are just labels for phases in the development of the same individual. There's no scientific basis to say that a human is not a baby at any earlier stage. It is always the same individual, growing, changing, never ceasing to be a human, right? So I think everybody can understand that and can know that, but I think the propaganda is quite strong, and some people actually believe the nonsense propaganda. Um, or I don't know if they can believe it because it's so nutty. I don't know if they really believe it, or do they just like to be able to be evil. I think they actually like to be evil, and that is appealing to them. They can go ahead and kill and destroy life with impunity, right? I think that's really where it goes. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you.